Sorry, good evening, everyone. This is Ayush, your host for today, and I welcome you all on the behalf of whole Coding Ninjas team to this webinar on Roadmap to Development in association with GDSC Amrita School of Engineering. Today, we have with us, joining us from London, Praveen Kumar. And I won't introduce Praveen because he has like lots and lots of achievements in his career. So,
Actually, yes, you can
I,
leave it to me, but
yeah, I will.
just tell some more things for about like 2 minutes and then I'll jump in.
Yeah, sure, Praveen. I will just say that Praveen, he is a very jolly kind of person. He loves to interact with the people. So I just want you all to be interactive in this webinar so that Praveen also enjoys this and you guys can actually take a lot of advice from him and a good roadmap to actually what exactly is development. He is a full stack mentor and he has been associated with lots and lots of companies in past. He's currently associated with some banks right now. So I guess that makes what Praveen is, and he's the most in demand speaker for this particular topic for in Coding Ninjas. So
Thank
I
you.
believe that, yeah, Praveen, over to you without wasting any time. Over to you.
Okay, so cool. Let me start with my quick introduction. Thanks a lot, campus team, for introducing me in such a nice way. And hey, everyone. Yes, I asked you all to like introduce yourself in one liner. So let me introduce about myself as well. So hey everyone, I'm Praveen originally from Chennai, India, and currently living and working in London for one of the top 2 banks in the UK. And I might be joining as a vice president engineering in the next couple of weeks. So CN team, that's actually a new thing that's happening. So I'm leaving my job by the end of this month and I'll be joining as a VP of engineering in another company. I guess that's very common company, like very famous company. It's again banking side of things. It starts with JPMC. Okay, so anyway, so it's not confirmed yet and I'll let you all know once it happens. And yeah, so my work as a day job is a full stack JavaScript specialist. So I work with React.Js and Node.js specifically. And that's what I generally do. And I could see that there are like loads of new batches. And I could see there is this person who has written a EAC. So is it Likita or Ikita? Likita? What is EAC? And Sadhana, AIE. What are all those batches? They are like, those branches are completely new to me. Wow. C as in AI. Okay. Connect with me soon. I would like to talk to you as well. So that's so cool. AI in CS is really cool. And here's, okay, so that's me. And okay, so quickly, without further delay, I'll just introduce about me. So I'm a full stack JavaScript specialist. I keep saying that I'm a full stack developer. So what is a full stack developer without a website? So let me share my screen, and can everyone confirm that you're able to see my screen? Let me open the chat as well. Yes. Okay. So this is me, and since everyone is going to be a developer at a point of time, so this is about the roadmap for becoming a great developer, or specifically a web development, because a lot of people are going for the development kind of thing. So this is my portfolio. What I request everyone to do is like create a portfolio, something similar to this. It is a simple portfolio where I have got a complete page with a picture of mine, the worst picture of mine, or and I've got my name here with all the different things that I do. I'm a cat lover, I'm a mentor, I'm a cook, I'm a full stack developer, cloud computing enthusiast, etc. So this is something like you can do it using JavaScript, and here is all the links that where you can go and connect with me. And I do have my YouTube channel as well. So without further delay, I'll just quickly show you what all things that you should have in your portfolio. So the first section is obviously a simple about section where you introduce about yourself, what all things that you do. Then the next section is like if there is some kind of an experience that you have, you can actually put out here. In case if you are all students, which is what I believe, go to directly to the education section where you just tell what exactly you are doing. And what I did here, I just copied everything from my brochure. And then these numbers are made up numbers, and these things can also be done using JavaScript. And portfolio wise, this is something really important, which I want every one of you to do. So even if you do something smaller, like creating how should I say? Um, what should I say actually? Even if you do a small hello world program, try to put it on your website or like on your, sorry, on your LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, etc. Just to say that, okay, I did someday like this, sometime like this. So what exactly happens is this I did like 11 years ago, then this on like 10 years ago, this is around 9 years ago. And you can actually see how I have evolved over time. This gives you a nice confidence, and you can also tell others that you have been doing this for a long time. And in case if you are not confident enough to become like opening your video and speak to others, you can also do something like, if you learn something new, try to write a blog about it and then send it to everyone, so that what happens is people know that you are good with one particular subject or these subjects that you write. Also, this also helps you in written communication as well. This will actually be a huge, like it's a huge thing for you when you are going for the work, where written communication is one of the major things that you need to work with. And coming finally, this is what people talk behind my back, and this is how you can talk behind my back. So apart from this, that's something which I want you all to do it. And coming to the session directly, so we'll be starting with the roadmap to becoming a full stack developer, something like me. Okay, so will that be interesting to you all? Okay, we could see a lot of people say yes for this. That's good to know. Okay, nice. So we'll look into how we can become a I mean, there are so many people who are, see, full stack development and web development is not the only thing that is available in the whole IT industry, right? So there is digital marketing, there is artificial intelligence, there is like how Sadhana said, there is also something like artificial intelligence and CS. There are like so many things people might be really interested in. So thinking about those things, I wanted to make sure if this topic is okay. So becoming a full stack web developer just like me. So that is what we are going to talk today. And since almost everyone said yes, whoever answered, they all said yes, not a single no. So I'll go with that. And I just wanted to understand if you all understand what exactly is there in the web development scenario. So if you see here, I'm gonna share my screen once again. This time, let me open about blank and then start annotating. Okay, right. So when you see the web development, this is actually a 3-tier architecture. Okay, it's not the 3-tier college or something like that. I am from like some 10th tier college. So okay, so 3-tier architecture. So what we are going to do is we will just try to understand what exactly is this 3-tier architecture. After that, we will go into something really crazy. So the first thing is whatever you look and feel, that is your front end. Okay, that you have a Chrome or something like this, like a browser, and let's put Chrome here. So that is your browser, that is your front end, and we have a second tier as the programming tier or the app tier. So application tier has got a web server or something like that. And then there will be the third tier, which is the database tier, where you have a big barrel of data. So that is about the 3-tier architecture, which typically uses some kind of an SQL service. Okay, so SQL is for relational database model and NoSQL is for non-relational flat file model. Okay, so this tier is the backend. This total thing is called backend, and getting this backend up and running is done by someone called as DevOps. Okay, so this is the bit of some bits and pieces of terms that you might need to know. And here we have something like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So what exactly is these 3 things? Let's have a quick, a better way of explaining things. Okay, so first thing is, let's say everything in the web is almost similar to what we do in our everyday life. Let's say the HTML page that you are going to build is your home or something like that. Yeah. So let's say you're in a home or something like that, and then let's make a new home inside the home. That is what we do. Let's say that way. So for creating a home, you will just put all the scaffolding and other things, right? So that exactly is called as HTML. So the bricks, the scaffolding, whatever the things that you have, the television, the radio and all still people use, no. Okay, the television, the ceiling fans, lights, tube lights, switches, all these things are HTML components. You all put it inside that. And then you need to put the switches in a certain place, and the ceiling fan goes to the top, then the TV goes to this place, and you paint everything in this particular color, etc. Right? So those kind of things are the look and feel of the website, and this look and feel is created by the CSS part. And then finally, switch pota light in you. Like if you switch on the switch, the light starts glowing and the fan starts running, etc. Right? So this particular thing is the interactive part of things, and this interaction is the JavaScript part. Okay, so that's exactly what I was trying to say about the three-tier architecture, three parts of the front-end development. So once the front-end development is done, you can switch on to your back-end development. Back-end development is where you will be, once you click on the forms or something like that, you'll be able to connect with all these stuff, like get the whole thing done and stuff like that. So that's about the next part of the front-end development. So now I'm going to share my screen once again and show you a website which actually helps you in understanding all the three-tier architectures and those things. It's just going to give you a good idea about all these things. So that's called as roadmap.sh. I'll send all the links again as well. So I hope this is very clear, like it's looking clear as well. So roadmap.sh is such an awesome website where you'll be able to become a front-end developer, step-by-step guide in becoming a front-end developer in 2021. Then there is this step-by-step guide to becoming a back-end developer in 2021 as well. So let's open both the things. So once you know you have done with, you are confident with all these steps, like for example, let's go to the front-end development. So you have like so many things that you need to start learning. Okay, so you should know the basics of internet, then HTML, CSS, JavaScript, version control systems, web security, package managers, CSS architecture, preprocessor, build tools. Then we will be picking a framework. Then we will look into the modern CSS ways of doing things. There is something called as web components. Then again, CSS frameworks. Why is CSS frameworks coming again and again? Okay, CSS frameworks coming for the first time. Then there is unit testing, which is not a big thing but in the company, when you go join a job or something like that, at that point of time, unit testing is very important. And then you have type checking for those people who are coming from the Java background or the typed language background. So those kind of things are in the type checking. And then you have progressive web apps, which is one of the things that people are actually looking into, but not so big. Then we have server-side rendering, which is a lot much easier in terms when browsers are not using JavaScript. Then you have different ways of accessing the APIs using something called as GraphQL. Then there are static site generators as well. Static site generators are like, you don't need JavaScript to run the whole thing, but it just generates the whole website in a static way. And then we have mobile applications, desktop applications, WebAssembly, which is the new concept which is going on right now. And then finally, you keep learning new things. So this is the ultimately entire thing that's happening with the web and other things. Okay. So once you are done, it's not about, there are like so many things that you need to know. These are the techniques. These are the tools and techniques that are given in this particular roadmap. So these, if you follow these things, you will become a perfect full stack developer or web developer. And the next thing is, once you know how to paint stuff, this is just the painting part, look and feel part. Once you do all these things, the next thing is you can go ahead and look into the backend development. So backend development, you need to know the basic in front-end knowledge, the basics of CSS, HTML, and JavaScript, and then you need to know the basics of the operating system, how you can work with the computer, like what exactly, like, how processes work in operating systems, how you will be like switching on, switching off different ports and other things, the memory management. There are like loads and loads of things that you can learn in this part. Then you have the different types of networking as well, because when you start working on backend, it's going to be about connecting computers between multiple places, right? So that is the network management, networking concepts. Then you need to learn some kind of a backend application or backend programming language. So what is there in this backend programming language? Anything like Java, JavaScript, PHP, Python, .NET, anything else, backend, Ruby on Rails, etc. So these were something that was there before. So now recently there is something like Rust, Golang, etc. So they are also getting popular nowadays. Obviously, you would require the knowledge of version control systems, because version control systems are something like you go back in time or something like that. This is going to be really useful in terms of like, in case if the application was working for so long and suddenly it stopped working, you can go back in time to get the application up and running. So something like that is also possible. And there are different types of databases. There are relational database. There are not non-relational database, NoSQL database, etc. And database concepts like ACID compliance. ACID is like atomicity, consistency, integrity, and durability, something like that. The transaction. There is something called as the N+1 problem, which a lot of database students might know. And database normalization, the indexing, etc. Those kind of things are really helpful as well. So whatever is given in this blue tick, just make sure you are learning those things. And then there are different types of APIs. What is an API? So when you have your own computer and there is another computer that's totally different thing. For example, you have your own website and you want to put the tweets from your Twitter account. So twitter.com is totally a different computer, different website, different service, but you want their content on your website. So for that, you will be using application programming interfaces, APIs, to connect to them and then get the details about that, like get the latest tweet or something like that. So that way you will actually be able to talk to the other service and get the information here. So these kind of things that you will be able to learn. And web security is one of the huge things here. So just make sure you learn about all these OWASP and web vulnerabilities, and you have to be making sure that these SQL injection attacks are not happening and stuff like that. And then we have a lot broad varieties of things like design principles. This actually helps in front end as well. Solid principle, Yagni principle, then dry principle. So solid is the singularity, blah, 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 that thing. And dry is do not repeat yourself. This is something related to React. We can even apply it in React. There are different types of architectural patterns where microservices are becoming a huge thing right now, and make sure you put your concentration on that. There is also message brokers. This is something very advanced, and all these things, when it goes more, it becomes extremely advanced. There is like mitigation strategies, then there is like loads and loads of things that you will be learning as well. So these two things, if you keep learning, then it becomes front end as well as back end in this case. And then once you learn these two things, then it is going to be your full stack application. You will become a full stack developer once you finish all these things. Okay, fine. This is the roadmap. I can clearly see that I can learn this way. But what about the learning part? Okay, so coming to the CSS part, I just wanted to give you a couple of tips because we are running out of time. So I just wanted to give you some nice tips. Okay, so first thing is, how many of you have your okay, let me put the question this way. How many of you have a personal website domain? How many of you do not have a, okay, do not have a personal website domain and would like to have? Okay, so Mohammed, awesome. So something like Praveen.Science, or let's say Norman.com or something like that. Okay, I'm going to give it for free. Sure. So whoever wants it, I'll be happily giving it for you for free. And I said it is free. 8. Okay. So yeah, cool then. So this, okay. So why am I telling you a lot for, get a domain name for yourself is it is going to create your own brand, and it helps you in, like, for example, one thing, if I need to get a job, what I would do is, hey, this is my website, and then just go, this is what I am doing. And if you just go to Praveen Kumar Stack Overflow, and these are the things that I work with. And if I say that, just that alone, I'm pretty sure that people will give me a job. That is what you all would like as well, right? So if you see this is what I'm good at. So HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, PHP, Bootstrap, So it kind of like gives you the exact thing that I'm good with. So that is mainly a good reason why we should have a portfolio of ourselves. Since I see a lot of people are from second year or third year, this could be the right time to create something. And there is also another thing which I wanted to ask you all. Okay, so first thing, yeah, and learning a couple of things. For example, we learn the CSS basics and other things. There are these two things, okay, CSS grid and Flexbox. How many of you would like to learn these concepts using a game? Okay, raise your hands. That is easier, I guess. We could see the numbers raising. Okay, cool. So great. I'm going to show you a couple of things. And by the way, whoever said me so far, yeah, don't forget to connect with me. And thanks for the hand raises. And let's go ahead and see how we can learn CSS Flexbox and the grid system. That is, these two things are really tough to learn. So there is something called as Flexbox Froggy. Okay, so this is some awesome website. This is one of the awesome websites which I have ever seen. And here you will be able to you'll be able to see how you can learn this Flexbox concept in such an easy way. So this is a Flexbox Froggy, where this is a lily pond. Actually, this is a pond where there is a lily pond here and there is a frog here. Frog, unfortunately, you are not a real frog. You are actually just a flex element inside this Flexbox. So in case if you want this Flexbox element to go to the lily pond, that is, this frog needs to go to the lily pond, you need to do something like justify content. And for this justify content, you need to use any of these values, flex start, flex end, those kind of things. Let's try using center. So if you do center, it's going to go to the center. And if you do flex end, it would go to the end of the thing on top of the lily pond. So this is a very easy way of like learning Flexbox and other things. So this is one of the things that I always tell people, like learning by playing a game is really cool. And then the other thing that you will be able to see it here is there's something called a CSS grid garden. And this is a learning for CSS grids. This is also one of the toughest thing to learn. That's the reason you have got 28 different levels. So all these 28 levels are there, and we have to go ahead and try to solve all these things so that you will be good with the CSS grid as well. So this one should go to this part. So if you do the grid column start and give 2 or something like that, so 1, 2, 3, then it goes to the carets there. So that's exactly how you would be doing all these things. I guess if there is column start, there should be a row start. And then if you give row start 3 and column start 3, so it's going to go down, row start 0, something like that. So all these things are going to help you with learning the grid in the right way. So these are a couple of things that I wanted to show you. So this will actually help you in learning in the game way. So then comes the JavaScript part. How would you learn the whole JavaScript? There is a website called as javascript.info. So if you know HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, that's all it takes to become a front-end developer, at least a web developer. A basic web developer will know all these 3 things. And if you know JavaScript, you can also do the backend part of things, which means you will become almost like a full stack developer. At least a budding full stack developer, you can create a minimum viable product in a full stack environment. And so to learn JavaScript, this is the first step. You have to learn the JavaScript as a language, like C language, JavaScript language, the basic fundamentals, the structures, the data structures, data types, classes, error handling, modules, etc. Then you will be using JavaScript to link with the document object model. So DOM and JavaScript gets linked, and then you will be learning all these things. Then there are additional crazy things as well. So there are so many advanced concepts that you can learn with JavaScript, and that's it. This whole website is just enough for this learning the whole JavaScript part. So that's about the JavaScript part. And version control systems, if you want to time travel to back to your code, working code, which was working, just make sure that you do it. And one of the top frameworks in front end is React. So it's not framework, it's actually a library. And this has got a really nice learning roadmap as well. So this is worth looking at as well. And apart from this, that's about how you can become a full stack developer in 2021. In half an hour, we have covered everything. So any questions, should I take it up? And I'm happy to open up with questions. So there are a couple of people who have raised their hands. Ashutosh, Mohammed Nofan. If you have any questions, yes, go ahead and okay. Yeah, go ahead and ask your questions. I'm happy to answer them. And nice. I would really like people to like talk so that I can give more goodies. So already for those people who have raised their hand and put me on the chat, please connect with me. I'm going to give you free domain names for free. And I'll also give you a one-on-one personal guidance on how to host your own personal domain, like just how I did. So that will be a huge thing in your career, right? Like you can showcase that to your potential employers, and you can also become reachable by the, I mean, like you will be in the limelight of the recruiters, people who are planning to give you jobs, etc. And by the way, one thing which I can talk about is the job side of things, like career side of things in the UK. I'm currently in London, United Kingdom. So if you are willing to come here to study or work, because artificial intelligence, data science, etc., web development, all those things, pure front end, you will be getting more than 50 lakhs in case if you are experienced in the UK. So there are like so many opportunities here. And if you would like to talk about those things, I'm up for it. Any questions you want to ask or anything that I can answer? So who is from the campus team today?
This is Ayush, Praveen.
Hi, Ayush. How are you?
Hi. I'm good.
I'm always like, okay, so we came to the, I joined the Zoom meeting and then, okay, what is the topic today? That's how I am. I'm the worst last bencher you can ever see. And I'm the laziest person
ever. That is something
ever.
you should ask, Praveen, because last time they assigned you data structures.
Yeah. But before, see, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, and by the way, folks, in case if you are going to get your stuff in artificial intelligence or web development or machine learning or data science, I don't know about data science. So AI, ML, web development. In case if these three are your target area, you don't need to worry about data structures. I am from the web dev field. I have been here for about like 15 years now in the field, and not a single time I was asked for a data structures and algorithms test, except in my third semester, which I failed. Okay, so Prabhat says, can you recommend me any course? Please check my YouTube channel, shameless publicity. But anyway, I would really recommend a free code camp, which is really, really awesome. There are like so many great courses available. And I'm also doing something in my YouTube channel, so check that out. And free code camp is this, freecodecamp.org. So have a look at that, Prabhat. I hope that helps. And for people who joined just now, you can actually check out these things. That's where I live. So Mohammed, please make sure you pass the test. Don't be like me. I failed. Yeah, it is. I mean, I guess that's the only subject I feel so tough for me for some reason. I don't know why. And I hate it. And I hate testing as well. I hate typed languages like Java, C, C++. So I'm sticking with JavaScript and PHP. When I say PHP, I love outside, people start throwing stones on me. I don't know why. Okay, any other questions? So those people who wanted the domain name, just connect with me on LinkedIn and say that you give a small context that you come from this one, like a Coding Ninjas webinar, and you use the connect option, not the follow option. Connect me, and then let's start talking, and I'll guide you on how to create your own website, host it, etc. All right.
So thanks for joining, and thank you so much, Praveen, for your cooperation and your word of advice to each of the participants. So I hope that they have received the roadmap to development.
I hope so. Thanks a lot for bringing us in, Sadhana. So that's actually great. Anything else would you like to say, campus team?
No, I think that is all from our side as well. And thank you, Praveen. Thank you to all the participants for joining us for the session. We hope that we will organize more events like this and some coding events for your college and for your GDSC Amrita in future.